The Story of a Mermaid. Episode 1. Story by Truth Be Told. The river was alive. It sang in the night, its dark waters swirling with secrets. The fishermen of Odi village never cast their nets after sunset. They knew better. The elders had warned them, the river is not yours after dark. It belongs to her. No one dared to call her name carelessly. But everyone knew her. Mermaid. Deep in the village, a young man named Jide sat outside his father's hut, staring at the moonlit river. His heart was restless. His mother had died when he was a child, and his father, a once great fisherman, had grown weak with age. They were struggling, their once prosperous home now filled with hunger. Jide needed a miracle. Jide, don't do anything foolish, his father had warned earlier that evening. The river gives, but it also takes. Be patient. But patience would not fill an empty stomach. That night, while the village slept, Jide picked up his fishing net and walked towards the forbidden waters. The air was thick, heavy with an unseen presence. The river was too still. No frogs croaked. No crickets sang. Jide hesitated. Then, taking a deep breath, he stepped into the cold water. He cast his net. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, pull. The net was heavier than he expected. His heart pounded with excitement. He had caught something big. He pulled harder, his feet sinking into the wet sand. Then he saw her. A woman rose from the water, her skin glowing like the moon, her long hair floating around her like silk. Her eyes, deep and endless, locked onto his. Jide could not move, could not breathe. Marmaid had come. And she was smiling. Jide's breath caught in his throat. The woman before him was not human, he knew that at once. Her beauty was unearthly. Her skin shimmered like the river under the full moon. Her eyes were deep, endless pools that seemed to pull him in. Still, she smiled. You are brave, Jide, she said, her voice as smooth as flowing water. Jide staggered back, his feet slipping in the wet sand. He had never told her his name. Who are you? His voice was barely a whisper, but he already knew the answer. She tilted her head, amused. You already know who I am. Marmaid. His hands trembled. He had heard the stories of men who saw her and never returned, of fishermen who gained great wealth but lost their souls. His father's warnings echoed in his mind. The river gives, but it also takes. You want fortune, she said, stepping closer. You want power. You want to escape your suffering. Jide could not speak, could not move. She reached out and touched his forehead with her cold fingers. At once, visions flooded his mind. Gold spilling from his hands, a grand house by the river, villagers bowing to him in respect. You can have it all, Marmaid whispered. But there is always a price. Jide's heart pounded. What price? Her smile deepened, mysterious and unreadable. You will know in time. The river rippled, and suddenly, the heavy net he had cast earlier floated to the surface, bursting with the biggest fish he had ever seen. Enough to feed his family for months. Jide gasped. His hands shook as he dragged the net onto the shore. It was real. The fish were real. He turned back to the river, but Marmaid was gone. Only the wind whispered through the trees. And the water was still watching. Jide stood by the river, his breath heavy, his heart pounding like the village drum. The fish in his net glistened under the moonlight, more than he had ever caught in his entire life. He should have felt joy. Relief. Instead, his skin was cold with fear. Marmaid was real. And she had given him exactly what he wanted. But there is always a price. The words echoed in his mind as he dragged the heavy net back to the village. His body ached, but he did not stop. The fish weighed on his back, yet it was not the weight of the catch that troubled him. It was the weight of the unknown. What had he just done? As he reached the village, The first rooster crowed. Dawn was breaking. An old woman sweeping outside her hut gasped when she saw him. Jide, where have you been? Before he could answer, his father, Baba Jide, emerged from their hut, his eyes still heavy with sleep. The moment he saw the overflowing net, he froze. Where did you get this? His father demanded, his voice sharp. Jide hesitated. From the river. His father's face darkened. The river belongs to her at night, Jide. Tell me the truth. Jide swallowed hard. I saw her. Gasps rippled through the few villagers who had gathered. The old woman dropped her broom. Someone murmured a prayer. His father's hands shook. You saw a marmaid. Jide nodded. His father let out a long breath and turned away, gripping his head. Ah, Jide, what have you done? I did nothing wrong. Jide protested. She gave me this. We will eat, Baba. We will not suffer anymore. His father spun around, eyes filled with something Jide had never seen before, pure fear. Did she ask for anything in return? Jide hesitated. You will know in time. No, he lied. She asked for nothing. His father studied him, but before he could say more, the chief's guards arrived. Jide, one of them called. The chief demands to see you. Now. Jide felt his stomach drop. The chief never summoned anyone unless it was serious. The villagers whispered as the guards led him away. Some looked at him with envy, others with suspicion. But Jide did not miss the ones who looked at him with pity. As he entered the chief's compound, he was greeted by the rich aroma of roasted yam and spicy soup. But his appetite had disappeared. Chief Okone sat in his grand chair, his heavy necklace of cowrie shells resting on his chest. His belly was full, his eyes sharp. I have heard of your fortune, Jide, the chief said, his voice deep and knowing. A poor fisherman returns with a catch fit for a king. Tell me, how did you do it? Jide kept his face steady. The river was kind to me. The chief smirked. Do not insult my intelligence. You saw her, didn't you? Jide's mouth went dry. He did not answer. The chief leaned forward. Listen, boy. Many have seen Marmaid, but few live to tell the tale. And those who do, they always pay the price. A chill ran down Jide's spine. You are either very lucky, the chief continued, or very foolish. The river does not give without taking. You may feast today, but tomorrow, she will come for what is hers. Jide clenched his fists. He would not let fear control him. He had what he wanted. Food, respect, a future. He bowed to the chief. Thank you for your wisdom. But I will take my chances. The chief shook his head. Then may the gods have mercy on you. Jide left the palace feeling a mix of pride and dread. That night, his home was filled with laughter. The smell of roasting fish filled the air. Neighbors came to celebrate. People clapped him on the back, calling him blessed. But as the night deepened and the voices faded, Jide sat alone outside, staring at the river. The wind was silent. The water was still. But somehow, he knew she was watching. And waiting. Jide did not sleep that night. Even after the village quieted and the last visitor left his home, his mind remained restless. He sat outside, staring at the river, his heart heavy with thoughts he could not shake. You will know in time. The marmaid words haunted him. He had lied to his father. Lied to the chief. Lied to himself. He knew this fortune was not free. He just didn't know when, or how, the price would come. The next morning, the village was alive with whispers. People pointed at Jide as he walked through the marketplace, their eyes filled with curiosity, admiration, and fear. That is the boy who saw her, an old woman muttered. A cursed blessing, another man murmured. Jide ignored them. He had no time for their superstitions. He was going to the river, to cast his net again. He would not be poor again. As he reached the riverbank, he noticed something strange. The water was too still. No ripples. No movement. Even the birds that usually skimmed the surface were gone. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Still, he stepped into the water. He cast his net. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, just like before, pull. His heart leapt. He pulled harder, his muscles straining. His net was heavy, much heavier than yesterday. Another miracle. A smile touched his lips, until he saw it. His net wasn't filled with fish. It was filled with golden coins. Jide staggered back, his breath caught in his throat. The gold gleamed under the morning sun, shining like treasure from a lost kingdom. He had heard of such things. Stories of men who found wealth in the river, only for it to disappear, or worse, destroy them. His hands trembled. Then, the river rippled. And he heard her voice. "You are mine now, Jide." His blood turned to ice. He spun around, but the river was empty. No sign of her. No sign of anything. Only the gold. Jide swallowed hard. He could leave it. Walk away. Pretend he never saw it. But he knew himself. He was not foolish. And he was no saint. He grabbed the gold, stuffing it into his cloth bag. Then, without looking back, he ran. By the time he returned to the village, sweat covered his body. His heart pounded in his chest. He rushed into his hut, bolted the door, and emptied the bag onto his sleeping mat. Gold. Real gold. His hands shook as he touched the coins, running his fingers over their smooth surface. This was no trick. No dream. "You are mine now, Jide." The words whispered through his mind again, chilling him to the bone. A knock on the door made him jump. "Jide." His father's voice. Jide scrambled, covering the gold with a cloth. He steadied his breath, then opened the door. His father studied him. "You went back to the river." Jide hesitated. "I caught something different." His father's eyes darkened. "What did she give you?" Jide's mouth felt dry. He did not answer. His father grabbed his arm. "Listen to me, my son. I have seen this before. A man once found gold in the river. He thought he was rich. He thought Marmaid had blessed him. His grip tightened. He was dead before the next moon." Jide yanked his arm free. "I am not that man. I will not be weak. I will not be poor." His father's face filled with sorrow. "Then may the gods help you." He turned and walked away. Jide shut the door, leaning against it. His father did not understand. No one did. This was his time. He would be rich, powerful, respected. But as he looked back at the pile of gold, the weight of an unseen force pressed against his chest. Something was watching. Something was waiting. And deep down, Jide knew, his debt had already begun. Jide's hands trembled as he stared at the pile of gold before him. Each coin shone like the morning sun, promising a life he had never known. A life beyond the struggles of fishing in an unforgiving river. Beyond the hunger that gnawed at his stomach. Beyond the pitying looks of the villagers. Yet, beneath his excitement, something dark stirred. A whisper in the back of his mind. "You are mine now, Jide." Marmaid's voice had been soft, almost loving. But Jide was not a fool. Love had never felt this cold. A sharp knock at his door startled him. Jide. It was his best friend, Kofi. Jide hurriedly threw a cloth over the gold and opened the door, forcing a grin. "Kofi. What brings you here so early?" Kofi stepped in, his curious eyes scanning the small hut. "The real question is, where were you last night? The whole village is talking." Jide stiffened. "Talking about what?" Kofi smirked. "About how you, the same Jide who used to struggle to catch a single fish, suddenly came back with enough to feed a whole village. Some say it was luck. Some say the river spirits blessed you. Others." His voice dropped. Others say you saw her. Jade forced a laugh. People love to gossip. But is it true? Kofi pressed. Did you see Marmaid? Jade hesitated. He wanted to lie. Wanted to dismiss Kofi's questions. But the weight of what had happened was too heavy. I saw something, he admitted. Kofi's eyes widened. You fool. He grabbed Jade's shoulders. Do you know what you've done? Jade shrugged him off. I've done nothing but take what was given to me. Kofi's face darkened. Marmaid does not give gifts for free. If she blessed you, she will return to collect what is hers. You need to return whatever she gave you. Jade's heart pounded. And throw away my fortune. Better to be poor than cursed. Kofi snapped. But Jade was not listening. He could not. The thought of going back to a life of struggle, of watching his father age in misery, of being the village's laughingstock, he could not bear it. I will be fine, he said firmly. You will see. The gods have finally smiled on me. Kofi shook his head, stepping back as if Jade were already lost. Then I pray you were right. And with that, he left. That evening, Jade returned to the marketplace. Unlike before, people did not whisper about him. They greeted him. Men clapped his back. Women smiled at him. He was no longer the poor fisherman's son. He was Jide, the man of fortune. With the gold he had hidden under his clothes, he bought more than he had ever dreamed of. Fine clothes. Spices his mother had once wished for. He even purchased a goat for his father, a symbol of their newfound wealth. But as he walked home, something strange happened. The air grew thick, heavy. The sounds of the market faded, as if swallowed by an unseen force. Then, he saw her. Standing at the edge of the road, just beyond the trees. Marmaid. She was not in the water this time. She was here, in his world. Watching. Waiting. She wore a flowing white cloth, her skin glowing under the fading sun. Her hair, dark as the night sky, cascaded over her shoulders. But it was her eyes, those deep, endless eyes, that made Jide stop breathing. You have taken my gift, Jide. Her voice was soft, but it echoed in his bones. Jide's throat tightened. I did not steal it. A slow smile curved her lips. Of course not. It was meant for you. A strange warmth spread through Jide's chest. Marmaid stepped closer, her bare feet not disturbing the dust. I do not ask for much, Jide. Only that you remember, everything has a price. Jide swallowed hard. What price? Marmaid tilted her head, as if amused. You will know, in time. Then, without another word, she turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. The weight in Jide's chest did not fade. He did not know what frightened him more, her presence or the fact that she had not yet told him what she wanted. That night, the village celebrated again. Jide's house was filled with laughter. The smell of roasted meat filled the air. His father, though still wary, accepted the goat with hesitant gratitude. But Jide did not feel like celebrating. He sat outside, staring at the river once more. The coins were still hidden beneath his sleeping mat, untouched since the morning. He thought of Kofi's warning. Of his father's fear. Of Marmaid words. You will know, in time. A breeze rustled through the trees. The water rippled. And from the darkness, a voice whispered his name. Jide. His blood ran cold. He turned sharply, but no one was there. The laughter from inside his house felt distant now, like a world he no longer belonged to. He was not alone. And deep down, he knew, his debt had begun. Jide did not sleep that night. Even as the village quieted and the last of the celebration ended, he remained awake, staring at the ceiling of his hut. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard her voice. You will know, in time. It had been days since he first saw Marmaid, and though nothing bad had happened yet, he knew deep in his bones that something was coming. But what? He had done nothing wrong. He had only taken what was given to him. Was it a crime to accept a blessing? To seek a better life? He turned over, his fingers brushing against the cloth hiding the gold beneath his mat. The coins were still there. Still real. Still his. The next morning, Jai tried to push away his fears. He dressed in his finest clothes, clothes he had bought with his new wealth, and walked into the marketplace with his head high. But something was different.